Y'all ready? Well, good evening. Thank you all for attending tonight. We're about to get our pre-council meeting underway, so we appreciate all of you coming tonight. We would ask you if you got cell phones to either put them on silence or turn them off, please, so it won't be too disruptive. First thing we'll do is run down the agenda and try to move through this pretty quick. We had the workshop last week, so hopefully we can move on pretty quick tonight. Okay, the call to order. Invocation, I gave it last week. Anybody wants this week? Mr. Skelton, thank you. Roll call, appears we have all here, including the attorney and department heads. Our agenda tonight, I think, may have a couple of small things added to it, but they're all things that have come up in the past. So I don't see any problem with it as it's there. There's been no objection to anybody adding or bringing something up recently, so. With that being said, somebody want to make a motion to approve our agenda tonight? Thank you, Mr. Skelton, Mr. Phillips. Okay, our last council meeting was on the 19th. It's for the regular one. Only correction I have is I wish I could have really have said that on the back of page 2, that third or fourth paragraph up, Mayor Barlow reported the water sewer project is underway and should be finalized very soon. I did say we hoped it'll be underway very soon, but I don't think it's going to be finalized very soon. If I said that, I was mistaken. I think it's going to take quite some time. So if we could just remove that finalized, should be underway very soon will be, I think, more appropriate to say. Any other corrections or additions? Anyone want to make a motion to approve?
Do it. I'll second.
It is going to be a long night if we can't even get to minutes.
I didn't have much time to review them, so I didn't really have an overnight type thing.
Having them overnight didn't give you time to review them, you said?
No, sir, we just got back from vacation.
Okay, well. All right, we had a workshop session on the 25th. It was just items that was discussed here to come to the meeting tonight. The biggest thing being the roads.
I'll make that motion.
Thank you, Mr. Little. Mr. Butler. No recognition. Do we have anybody sign up for visitors tonight?
Brent wants to speak.
Hey, Brent, come on up, please.
I tried to sign up, I'm sorry, but I missed the deadline. Hey, my name's Brent Rawson, 311 Magnolia Avenue, Unit 21. The church, on behalf of First Baptist Satsuma, we would like to do the We Love Satsuma event again. We've done it several years with the fireworks, and this year we would like to bring we'd like to bring food trucks back in. We did that a year or so before the pandemic happened. We had a pretty big event up there with some music and things like that. We'd like to do that again if that's possible. We just like permission to use the park that Sunday afternoon. It'd be June 26th. And I don't know I did not check the calendar to see if there was something going on. I should have done that, but I can double check that in the morning just to make sure there's no tournaments or anything like that. I think that's the only thing we've ever run into was there was something going on one midday something years ago, but it doesn't cost the city anything. We set it all up through sponsorships and things of that nature. So I've spoken with the fire chief about it. to make sure it'd be okay to, do the fireworks. So just want to make sure it's good with everybody before I start sending out stuff. So I don't know what else I need to do, so.
Well, appreciate everything you do, Brent, helping around the city. I think it sounds good to me.
We just need to make sure food trucks have business license and are able to operate businesses.
We've been having them at the church, and the ones that I've talked to, I believe they're aware of that. No, I haven't, but I will make sure that they do, so that's okay. And they just, if for some reason they don't, they just come to the, okay, all right. I can make sure they do that, so, all right. So I'm good to go?
Sounds good to me. I think
Thank
all
you.
of us are in agreement.
All right, thanks.
Thank you. See, over here in the 26th, that would be, okay. It'd actually be the weekend before, with Monday, the 4th being on Monday week after that. Is there anyone else who wants to come before the council tonight? I see we have a couple of our school board members here with us. Ms. Robbins, Ms. Langford, do y'all have any comments or anything? And our friend from Alabama Power, thank you for attending tonight, Smith. We got the Ladies Club, a couple members. Ms. Callen, you don't have anything? All right, some of our regulars in the back. Okay. Well, if no one else is wishing to come before the council, we can move on pretty quick tonight. First thing on our mayor's report, unfortunately, I think one of our real longtime members, Mr. Ranthus, had been here for quite a number of years and passed away since our last meeting. So, Ms. Callen, does she have many family members left over in that Cherokee Park area anymore? You didn't even hear, huh? I said, I don't think Mr. Ranthus has many of the family members over there any longer, do they, in Cherokee Park? So, but I seen that she did pass away. Robbie Strom from the reference to Go Mesa sent me an email yesterday morning, said that he was working on a report and some permitting, and he intends to be at our next council meeting with some paperwork for us to sign regarding what they've been doing, the engineering studies, getting the permits. So I was pleased that he is at least reaching out and sending emails. And if y'all have been down there, you can see where the stakes, and they've had some flags, and also I know that they have been doing some work down there. So hopefully we'll keep that going. Alan with Civil Southeast also sent an email. He's actually a couple emails in the last week, including one today, saying the sidewalk project has now been, everything is in order. I think there's one invoice that he has for like $2,300 reference to the sidewalks that they sent yesterday, maybe. So we just received it yesterday afternoon. But other than that, we're hoping that project will move, get started. So it's taken a long time between the right-of-ways from the county and Saraland Water Board and our other issues that we've run into, but I do think we're working through those. We have finally talked to a couple of people that's interested in the building inspector position. I spoke with Councilman Little just before the meeting in reference to that, so I'm hoping if everything goes well by the next meeting, we might be lucky enough to have us one. So wanted to keep y'all up on that. The water grant, what did she refer to that as, Heather? The MS4 report. It's due, we just did the 5-year, but now we have to do the 1 year that has to be due. She wanted to know when she needs to come out to explain it, to talk about it. I told her I really didn't think that we needed to do that, as long as everybody was in agreement to sign it and just continue along. Does anybody have any problem with us just doing that, keep it going? I'm good. I thank you for that. Kara's still pursuing several grants right now, both for the city on things we've asked about and for the water board. So Sounds like she's staying very busy. Well, we got the education, two of the board members here. Actually, we got three of them now. We got Corey. I forgot to mention our person over there, but there was a very nice dinner held by the Community Education Council last night at Steel Creek Lodge. It was very nice. Had I guess the administration from Chickasaw and Saraland and Satsuma schools, and the speaker was from Mobile College, and it was a nice dinner and a nice evening, so we appreciate that. Hopefully it turned out as y'all hoped it would. Our senior meals, I think Mr. Little will speak about that, but they're proceeding good with our new hire, so we lucked out with a good person there. We'll get to the streets in a few minutes. Tom, I know you'd like to get out of here on the, after pre-council, but could you give us any update regarding the meeting you had with the gentleman regarding the lights? Yes.
I met with him last Thursday. He's gonna come up here in a couple of weeks in a pre-council meeting and try to explain, because he's definitely offering the Cadillac system. And it's almost $1 million, and he's talking about taking down every single light pole in all the parks, including the parking lot lights, everything. Replacing it with all engineered stuff, so I told him he kind of needed to explain that a little bit more to the council, break it up into phases maybe, and plus I'm getting some other people to give us a quote on the same thing to do it in phases. So, should have something for you next week, hopefully.
Or late next council meeting? Okay. They did have the meeting. They have gotten some work, so we can see it's going to be expensive. I don't think we're going to be able to undertake the whole project at one time, but maybe we could get a starting point, so. Regarding the ball field, Allison had asked us about the fence. We've run into some issues on that fence. What they requested the footage be for the Babe Ruth actually had this fence out in the street. So we talked with the association, and they said, well, we could counter that, but we'd have to put up a real high fence. They were suggesting if we come back to less than 290 to go up to 20 feet. But I think that's really going to be way high fence, so I told them I just didn't see us putting that size fence up. But I told them we could talk about it, or we could arrange one afternoon if you want to get somebody from up there, or you would like to come out and look, because they put some paint in the street to show you at the requested, extending the fence out. I guess that's the reason that the city came back with to where they did years ago to put the fence up. They was trying to stay off of the road, but, we're not going to be able to get over 300 feet on the first or third base line without being out in the road.
I'm not sure what you're saying. They're asking you to increase the size of the field out into the road?
Yes, that's what they had requested, that the fence,
Well,
if
I
it
don't,
was put back up, that it go to 320,
so they want us to
325
put a fence
feet.
in the road?
Yes. I didn't think.
Well, I
that
mean, we can't do that.
Well,
I mean,
that's the
unless you
reason I
wanna-
was asking, how far would you like for it to be, and what size fence would you like to put up?
This, whatever was there before. And we move it inside the pole, and I had gotten signatures from the current president of baseball and football at the time. And that's why this is taking way longer than it was supposed to. But I did
So
have
you
their
don't,
permission
you
at the
realize
time.
it won't be close to a regulation field?
Well,
that's
and not
what
if
you're
it's to
asking.
go out in the street anyways, it never was. So to expect something bigger than the previous would be, I mean,
Well, that's what they sent the email requesting it to be. So that's the reason I wanted to bring it back to you tonight to see what you might recommend, how far would you think the fence should be from home plate? Down the baseline to the fence.
I'm not sure that I would be the person to decide that.
Do they have one president at the park, or is each different league have a president? Or what I'm saying is the Dixie Boys or whatever, Babe Ruth, the same guy over all them groups, or is there different presidents over?
There's one president for the Satsuma Youth Association baseball, and then there's one over football.
Well, what's got me confused is, we won a World Series in Babe Ruth several years ago, and they played Babe Ruth all them years, and now they wanted to carry it further out. It seemed like it was working fine where it was, is what I'm getting at.
It's not, it wasn't ever a outfield fence. That was just a fence that went around a park in a rectangle.
No, it was an outfield fence for Babe Ruth.
No, the one that we took up.
Yeah,
Is it?
yeah, it was the Babe Ruth fence.
It was when they took down the little field, the little orange fence, that's where the middle school played at.
So when you hit it out in the outfield, it went into the corner at a 90-degree angle. Interesting.
I was really
Well,
just wondering
nobody
if
ever
we
talked
really
to the baseball team before the fence was taken up, so I guess y'all probably should have done that first.
Well, I think you're the one that asked us originally about taking the fence up, so, but anyway, let's move on from that. Mr. Butler will give the police fire report. Juniper Avenue, I have James and Travis here. We've been looking at some signs, some way to light up, to give lighting to the signs going in to the curves, and I've asked them to look at that and find out what we can do. James, have you or Travis been able to get any type of a price on what we're looking at on the curves?
We're still waiting for a couple of those estimates to come back, but the flashing LED light with the signage we need, looks like it's gonna run about $1,500 per sign. The rumble strips, I still haven't pinned down a price on that yet. So we're working on it. I'll have it for you by the next meeting.
They continually telling us, the striping companies, that they're having a hard time getting that striping. right
Yeah,
now.
I was thinking of, the stuff like they have over off, Lafitte, it's basically like the fire hydrant markers we put in the road, just, the glue down, something like that.
Yeah, that's kind of what we're checking.
But we were talking with Danny Bryan down here, from Bryan Seal Coating, and his son from, Ozark, I think, works over there. And he was trying to find some of the reflectors. But he just said that they hadn't had the best luck keeping those down, so I was gonna let you know that. But while he was here, he did offer to redo our front parking lot, seal coat it, and restripe it for free, so hoping that Danny will be able to get that done for us. Our workshop, we also discussed the pay raises for employees, where we were intending to get everybody up to the minimum pay of $13 an hour. I guess we need to put that in the form of a motion tonight. We all agreed on it at the workshop the other night, so there was no, so,
I'm still working on everyone else, so I'll have you an answer on that by the next meeting.
yes, we just got to determine what it's going to be. I mean, we all agreed on that too.
Mayor, I did want to make a correction on that, where we were talking about the fire salary being at 12, there was an employee. I spoke with the personnel board about that. Their actual yearly salary is the same as the police department's beginning yearly salary. So when you see $15.99 on that spreadsheet for fire and police, that is actually what it would be, but because they're 56-hour employees instead of 40 a week, they have to back it out. So it starts a fire at, you'll see the 12. But they actually are making the same yearly salary as the starting police officer at $15.99. So it's a little misleading when you look at that,
I thought with being a fireman, it probably was. That's,
because they have a different pay scale.
Well, are we all still in agreement for that minimum raise tonight?
I don't have a problem with that, but, were we gonna talk about the other people like the policemen and the firemen? We're gonna talk the raises later?
That's what we're saying, that's
Yeah,
what.
I'm working on
Okay,
that.
you working on it?
Yeah.
He
Okay,
said
wanna
we're
make
good.
sure- Make sure.
Yeah, but okay. If we bring that up tonight, I'll need someone to make the motion on the minimum pay increase.
I'll make a motion.
Mr. Butler will make it, and who?
I'll second it.
Mr. Little is second.
You can put that as, amend it to D.
Yeah, we can, that'll be fine.
Where at?
D. under
D.
items of discussion and consideration.
Okay.
Well, we got that on the consideration to approve the pay-as-you-go road program. There again, the other night at our workshop, we all agreed on those. So I got James and Travis here and Tom. Those are the three that have done the measuring of all the streets and the recommendations of what we have. So
I'll put that, I'll put that in the motion, Mayor.
okay.
I can second it.
Thank you, Mr. Reeves. James, you got the streets, so tonight we can, you and Travis, go ahead and name the streets that we have that we're recommending to go for the record for the county. Okay.
Thomas Road, from Old 43 to Harrison. Powers Road, from Old 43 back into,
To Norton, right,
We got a list of them.
right. Okay, as long as it's included in the minutes, so there's no,
Yeah, I'll read them. I'll read the roads out when we make the motion.
okay. All right, let's get back. Okay, thank you, and it's got the footage to it also. Okay, the last thing I really have that I think we hadn't, this has come up several times. That old shed over there, I've been continually called by the person wanting to make a donation at the landfill. It's just grown up, and actually the road grader was up, pulled up to it Saturday when we parked it. If y'all don't mind, I'm just gonna ask the person to make a donation to the city for parks, or scrap. It can't be $50. So I'd like to just go ahead and get rid of that and get going with it. So do y'all have a problem with that? Thank you.
Did you say it would be fair market value?
That's more than fair market
Yeah,
value.
we felt like that.
If it's considered junk, I don't think you have to surplus it, but if it has value, then you gotta surplus it. Just vote to surplus it.
I went over and looked at it Saturday, and like I say, it's junk. It's some angle iron laying there. It's built in an A-frame, and they're laying over in the weeds, you know?
Probably be good to have it out of the way.
Scrap, you won't get $50 for it. It's not that much metal sitting there.
Whatever's allowed by law.
What do y'all consider it to be junk, I think, and it's in dump, then let's buy it.
It is junk.
If y'all think it has value, then
Needs
it's
cleaning up.
personal property, it needs to be voted on.
Tom, can you ever see us wanting to put that shed back up anywhere? The one that's been laid over there?
we one time talked about putting it out here in the back parking lot to put the vans under. It's a Carolina carport. They're $700-800 brand new.
I would never want to
All
put
the
something like
structures there, but,
No metal sheets, just framing. And it's thin wall.
All right,
That's what I say, there's no weight to
Okay.
it.
no, it's just one of those carports
Yeah.
that you see everywhere. I don't know if all the tin's there or not, but the structure is.
Structure may be, I don't think the tin is, and what I saw looked terrible. Okay, y'all know next week, I think, 5 of the 6 of us will be going to Tuscaloosa for the league meeting, so make sure everyone's aware of that. That's all I have. Public service, Mr. Little?
Mayor, I'll give that senior report in the meeting, and
Okay.
got a good, detailed, report from the Sanitation Department, on regular maintenance that we've done. And I am encouraged, about the, maybe building inspector.
Good.
That's all for now.
Mr. Butler?
On the fire department, we got, for the month, we got EMS calls, we had 65. Fire calls, we got 15, and for the mutual aid given was 2, for a total of calls at 82. And, on the police department, for the calls of service was 414. Felony cases was 5. Misdemeanors case, we had 19. I'm messing up this one, but, felonies, the rest, we got 1. And misdemeanor arrest, we got 39. Accidents, we got 10. And citations, we got 59 for the month of April.
Okay,
That's it.
thank you, sir. Moving on to administration, Mr. Skelton.
I've had a few calls about, I guess would be concerns about a yard sale that pops up a couple of times in Vons that appears to be more than a yard sale. Maybe looks like a storefront that pops up every now and then, and was classified to me as could be a Kirkland's clearance rack, so to speak. So I don't know if that's something that we should be concerned with, possibly a resale business operating out of a garage. That was brought to me, and I told them I would pass the word on to the council for that to be looked at if the council desired to. The only other thing I have was, I appreciate y'all looking into the Juniper deal.
Sure is. Yeah, it needs to be done.
Jason, if I ain't wrong, there's an ordinance on yard sales on the books, and I'm going by memory, so don't hold me to this, but I think you're supposed to pull a permit and you're allowed 4 a year. If I'm not wrong, and the reason it was created 20 years ago is because that's when these flea markets were just popping up everywhere. It was to prevent that type thing you're talking about, to where it was more of stores having them than the average citizen. So there is something on the books for that.
If that's the case, they have to apply for any home business and be licensed. But we can send somebody else to speak with them.
Yeah,
That's what we've done in the past. When we've had calls, we'd send like a revenue officer out and check. If you don't want to miss your revenue, see your number.
Actually, I had spoken with the gentleman we're talking to, the building inspector, about code enforcement. I actually mentioned that to Randy earlier today, that we need to bring code enforcement. Needs to be a priority on whoever we bring and try to get this going. So that's the reason I'm saying that, I wouldn't mind hiring 2 people in there to have one dedicated just to code enforcement. Because some of these people, you have to stay on them. They do, if we have a problem with a house or something we ask them to do, they do just enough to get us off, and then 6 months later, they're right back in the same thing. And some of the houses that we've asked them to do stuff with, they started, but they really haven't completed it. And I feel like it's time we address some of those too, so. Okay, thank you.
Appreciate it.
Thank you, Jason. All right, moving on, Parks. Ms. Reese?
Yes, sir. I just came from Magnolia Park, which is behind Public Works. And this is a plea for help. There are 4 little tiny kittens there. So if anybody's out there in Facebook world or out there in the audience, they hissed at me, but they're so tiny, they can't hurt you. And then I started to pet one, and it was very sweet. So there's 2 empty cans of tuna and some potato chips that they have out there. So somebody go save some babies. All right. There is a water fountain at the Bark Park, Tom, not sure. It's pretty innovative, it is. But are we, do we have some options yet for what the actual fountain will look like? Mayor?
I don't have any. James, have you or Travis been able to find any of the thing on the,
Tractor Supply, they have some, I think will work. One side of the pin has water, the other side don't. So we're gonna have to probably, run another water line in there to get the two waters where we need them. But we are checking on it.
The original idea was to have it in the middle, back behind the wooden fence, so it'd actually be on, the water would be on the Public Works side of the fence. And then the,
The water's there, the meter's there, I'm just talking about running, extending the line.
well, no, it would go back around behind the fence, and then your fountain would be double-sided. So you would have a fountain on the big dog side and the fountain on the little dog side with just one fountain, where they would be separated by a fence. Because, fountains like that, they do get pricey, like, thousands of dollars. So, and I don't know that what's there, if that's going to create a mud pit. So is there some possible, like, sewer hookup where no. Where will the water go? As it's like circulating, like a drinking fountain has, it goes into the drain and then it goes out, not onto the ground. Is there a plan for that? Okay, so probably, we don't want to make a mud hole or have it be stagnant in a bowl if I'm not sure. Okay, anyways, we can think about it. Is there an update on the C and D concession stand restrooms over at Wright Park?
I have not gotten any information from the contractor to get a bid on that. He sort of has disappeared on it.
Sounds familiar. Okay.
I'll try to call him tomorrow.
Okay, thank you. That's all I have.
thank you, ma'am. Mr. Phillips?
Mayor, I'll give all the council members a list of these generators. It's not on the agenda, but I got this from Heritage Electric on doing our yearly service, being hurricane seasons. Go be here shortly. I would like the council to review that, but no problem, we need to have them generators serviced. It's $5,000 for 4 generators, and they're Generac,
Well, whenever we try to get something,
Contractor.
a quote, we're asked to get multiple quotes from multiple electrical vendors.
well, like I say, they're the Generac dealership, that's the reason I got it from them.
Trying to make it fair.
We do need to make preparation for storm coming, but Mr. Phillips, we'll move that to next meeting, if that's okay.
Did we get quotes on them water fountains for them dog parks?
I didn't even know they put a fountain.
I'm just saying, some things we don't go out for
Well, I
quotes
think-
on when it's
I
not
think
much
they-
money.
Didn't you guys
Okay.
put the little pipe, PVC pipe in? Did y'all create that?
No, the water department.
Did they charge us for it?
No, they said they wouldn't.
There wasn't.
Point I'm making, some things ain't worth going out for bid on. It's $5,000, And by law, I don't think we have to.
But, we'll put it on the agenda to do it the next meeting. Like I said, and we can get some more prices. It doesn't matter to me. I mean,
Don't matter to me, I'm not getting no more. If somebody else wants to do it, they're more than welcome to.
okay. All right, we'll move on down. Do you have anything else, Mr. Phillips? I'm sorry.
That's all, Mayor.
I'm so, apologize. We're going to payment of the bills.
I'll get that one.
I'll second
Mr.
it.
Kelton, Mr. Little. Okay, on the B, consideration to approve the 2022/24 pay-as-you-go resurfacing project, consideration of entering, that's the first one on B, on the streets is in our packet.
On the pay-as-you-go?
On the
I'll
pay-as-you-go.
put that in the motion.
Yeah, I thought I was seconding that.
Oh, you're right, you had said you would, thank you. Bev and Ms. Reese. Considering C, consideration of entering into a purchasing agreement with Mobile County. That's just standard, I think, that allows us to buy off of their bid prices on some of the road stuff, and all we use is common, we've been doing it. Would somebody enter,
I
put
can
it,
do that.
Ms. Reese and
Second.
Mr. Butler?
Do I need to read anything off of that agreement?
It's
You know,
the same agreement we've had
Yeah, I was gonna
for
say,
20
since it's been
years.
entered for so many years, I don't think
The
so.
ordinance one down on C, is that
Right.
what that
And that's the ordinance for that.
Yeah. D, Mr. Butler said he'd make the motion on the approve an increase for unskilled labor. Or I thought we was making all,
Minimal.
at minimum, I did too. I thought we'd make it minimum for all.
You have to do the unskilled labor separately. If you want to do all the other employees, that's on a totally different pay scale. I talked to the person on board, and she said you would have to do that separately.
Okay, if there's any that's not making it, let's make sure we have them listed in 2 weeks. We want to make sure everybody's, that's kind of thought we were, I don't know if we have anybody else that will be under that.
Yeah, I don't think we do, Mayor.
I don't think.
Since we discussed the fire salary, I don't think anybody's
Okay.
under that.
Okay. Then we'll make a motion just as it is. Mr. Butler said he'd make it,
I'll second.
and Mr. Little said he'd second it. Okay. Moving on down on resolution and ordinance is just adopt the 220501, the pay-as-you-go resurfacing program. Once again, it's basically the same thing. Mr. Phillips and Ms. Reese,
Yes,
is
sir.
that okay? Also, we have a resolution that they've asked for, if you've read it, just in support of National Safe Boating Week. Just, we got a lot of water activity, and I feel it would all be beneficial to just show the support of that, and that's what they asked us to do. So,
I'll handle that.
See.
Randy and Jason. And then the authorizing of this agreement we talked about with the county is C. So that'll be. You want to, once again, Jason, that's under purchasing.
Yeah, you do.
Jason, Randy, second that, C.
Okay.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yes, ma'am.
No, I was reading the voter things. I think I was supposed to.
Oh, okay.
So somebody else got it.
But it doesn't matter on that, it's just a good ordinance that we promote. We've now gone through everything that the council has either listed on the agenda and/or been discussed by anybody up here. Is there anything we need to add? If not, it's 6:40 and we can take us about 15 or 20 minutes and come back to a regular meeting. So thank y'all. We'll Okay, it's 7 o'clock, time for our regular meeting to come to order, so I would like to call our regular May the 3rd, 2022 meeting to order. Two things, we'll ask that if anybody has a cell phone, to either please silence it or turn it off so it won't be disrupting the meeting. And also, it was brought to my attention that they can't hear us up there, so if you would, let's try to get the microphones down where you can hear us, and so maybe those in the back can hear what we're saying. Is this any better, Ms. Palmer? Thank you. Okay. All right. Most of you have been to meetings here before. Those of you have, so we don't want to bore you if you've been here, but we always start ours the same way. We start up our meetings with invocation, and then it's followed by the pledge. Tonight, we've asked Councilmember Jason Skelton to lead us in both. So if you would, please stand, remove your hats, and the prayer.
Let's pray. Dear God, we thank you for today, Lord. We just ask that you watch over and guide us as we handle business of the city. Lord, we ask that you be with those who have lost a loved ones in the last couple of weeks, God. Just put your healing hand and comfort upon them. Lord, we just ask that you watch over and guide our first responders and our city employees. Lord, just keep them safe. And we'll give you all the glory and praise in all that we do. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Jason. Heather, would you give us a roll call, please?
Yes, sir. Councilmember Little,
Present.
Councilmember Butler,
Present.
Councilmember Skelton,
Present.
Councilmember Reese,
Present.
Councilmember Phillips,
Here.
Mayor Mark Barlow.
Here. Please let the record reflect that all are here, including the city clerk, city attorney, and the department heads. Moving on the agenda for the next item is the agenda, and we were adding item D, I think. Is it?
That's correct.
Okay. Wanna-
I'll make a motion to approve the agenda with the addition of item G regarding employee pay. Excuse me, item D, sorry.
Second.
Right. Motion made by Mr. Skelton, seconded by Mr. Phillips to approve the agenda with the one additional item added to it, D. All those in favor signify by aye.
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 Opposed. Okay, moving on to the minutes from the last regular meeting of April the 19th, 2022. We had one correction, removing the one word finalized.
I'll make a motion to approve with that correction.
Second.
Motion made by Mr. Skelton, seconded by Mr. Little. Approve the minutes from the last regular meeting. All those in favor signify by aye.
Aye.
Okay, we had a workshop last week on April the 25th, 2022. Everybody, I think, had a copy of the minutes. Main discussion on that night was regarding upcoming road projects that we have here in the city.
Make that motion, we approve those minutes from the workshop, April 25th.
I'll second.
Okay, we have a motion made by Mr. Little, seconded by Mr. Butler to approve the minutes from the workshop meeting on the 25th. Any discussion? All those in favor signify by aye.
Aye.
Moving on, recognitions tonight. We don't have anything special. We do have several visitors that are here with us tonight in our pre-council. I think Brett Rawson, he must have left. I don't see him, but just for the record at our regular meeting, would y'all mind if we just say that Mr. Rawson came up from Satsuma First Baptist Church regarding the event they have planned? They're checking for park usage on June the 26th. That would be the Sunday or the weekend prior to July 4th for their event that they're hoping to get back going. He gave us the details of it, basically when they have fireworks and all that's put on by the church. So I think the council has all agreed that that would be okay. Is there?
Yep.
Okay, would you? All right, we'll just move on past that now. Okay, we didn't have anybody signed up on the agenda tonight. We always open the floor for anybody to come forward that may have a question or concern. but we asked you to stay limited to a 2 to 3 minute time period and understand that without being on the agenda, we may not have a answer for you tonight, but we will certainly allow anybody to come up and speak. If you do speak, please give your name and your address for the record, so we'll know who we're talking to and have it recorded. So, anyone wanting to approach tonight? Yes, sir. Come on up.
Yeah, my name is, I guess you want me to.
Yes, sir. Come please to the.
Yeah, my name is Mike Cassidy, and I live at 374 I-65 Service Road in Creole. And I'm a part of this committee that's been having these ongoing discussions for some time about the annexation or merging of Creole and Satsuma. And I'm sure y'all all know we had a meeting last Tuesday night, a week ago tonight, and had conversations and questions and comments. And as a part of that, we had a little survey or a little questionnaire where we asked the people that were participating if they supported the effort or they didn't support the effort. And after we tallied it up, we had 82% of the Satsuma residents that voted or answered the questionnaire in support of the annexation, and 77% of the Creole people answered in favor or supporting the annexation. And what we're here tonight for is to ask the city of Satsuma and the council to give us your position, where you stand on this. I don't know exactly what the process is to ask that question, but that's the question.
Okay, Mike. Yes, I was at the meeting. I think a couple, 2 or 3 of our council members were, and several of our city employees. So, yeah, it was what I think you said about 200 people or something I read.
198, best we could tell.
So,
I think there was 160 that voted or answered the little questionnaire. And so we're here tonight to ask y'all where you stand, where you're at. We're to the point that we thought for quite some time that we had the majority of the people that were supporting what we were doing, but until we had this little meeting, we had no data to support what we thought, so therefore it was just what we thought. Well, now we've got what we feel like is data that says that your citizens are interested in it. So we're to the point now we feel like the ball's in your court. So we're asking for your position, where you're at. And like I said, I'm not sure what the process or the procedure is to ask that question, but that's the question.
well, obviously, I don't think any of us have a lot of experience in saying exactly how to proceed to our next step at this point. It did appear that there was a lot of interest shown the other night in it, and there was a lot of positive comments. I would think that probably our next step would be, I mean, we can't really speak for the citizens of Creola or for their mayor and council, and I would like for there to be some dialogue between our mayor and council and theirs to see if they are supportive of it, or if they're encouraging, or would support a vote of the people there, to see, because I think that would be a true testament of the voters and the people who are there if it was held showing what they thought.
Yeah, we would like to see that too, but something's got to happen to start the ball rolling. And I'm not a lawyer, maybe Mr. Mills here could help us with this, but we can't get a petition for the citizens of Creola to sign a petition saying they want to annex until we get some statement from Satsuma saying that they are willing to go in that direction. I mean, if we have 100% of the citizens in Creola sign up to say, yeah, let's go, and then Satsuma never makes a move, then we got a petition full of names, but it doesn't mean anything.
I can't speak only for myself. I mean, I see some positive things there, but I mean, I just don't want it to look like we are trying to overstep our boundaries to speak for the Creola officials. I mean, as far as Satsuma, I feel a little more comfortable sitting here saying our position. I mean, I think there's some positive things that could come out of it. And I would express that if that question was asked. But like I said, we just don't want to make it look like that Satsuma is looking to some way aggressively
Right.
take over or pursue, because that's not what this is.
No, I don't think that's what it's about. But this is what we, and when I say we, I mean the committee, we feel like we need some word from Satsuma before we can go forward, with or without the council. And I'm like you, I can't speak for the council, the mayor, or anybody else. But we as a committee can't do anything else until we get some word from Satsuma that says, yes, we're willing to do this, or we're not willing to do it, and if you say you're not willing to do it, then.
Well, I'm willing to say that we would gladly enter into dialogue with them to see what we could do, or if there's any chance to make it work.
Mayor, Mike has been to the Creola Council. He went
I went to the Creola Council last week, and they didn't say yay or nay, or, in fact, there was a Creola citizen there asking him, where this stands, and they said, well, there's really been no official anything happen. It's just been a conversation. Well, how can we make the next official something happen? I mean, if Creola's sitting there waiting for you to do something, and you're sitting there waiting on Creola to do something, we're gonna grow old while we're all waiting to do something.
Right.
Mayor, I can't see where we can't make the decision if Creole people vote to annex to us, that we can't say, we're in agreement of that or we're not in agreement of it. We're not leading the fight. We're not doing nothing but just giving them an answer of which way we feel. I mean, I've been watching this go on for a year, and I kind of agree with Mike. It's time for everybody to say where they're at, and let's either move forward or forget about it.
Yeah, and I'll go find me something else to do.
Yeah.
I mean, if it's okay with the council, I can reach out to Mayor Nelson and see if they would like to establish some dialogue and, any discussion where we could see, if how they feel about their position and what they would do.
Okay, and if that doesn't go anywhere, can we get a petition from the Creola folks and bring it to Satsuma? If we do, what difference does it make if y'all are not willing to move forward with the annexation? It's my understanding, I don't know this, it's my understanding that if Satsuma is in agreement, then a petition can force the Creola Council to get involved.
I think it's a little early tonight to talk about forcing anybody, because, right now, we've all tried to work together, and I'd like for it to stay.
Absolutely,
pleasant.
I would too, but
the way
to
it's-
Bubba's point, we've been talking about this for a year. Well,
But
maybe not a
back to
year.
my point and some of the council members, but we just actually had a meeting where people actually
Citizens,
got to
yes.
express their opinions and
Right.
thoughts. And I know that poll you got was probably not a scientific poll, but
It's
it
pretty
gave us
close.
an idea of what the standings were.
Sure.
So,
Well, it was more data than we had.
sure, and I agree with that. So I think that there was movement.
Right.
There was talk. I think they had a couple of their council members that was there the other night.
I think so.
So,
Yeah.
they know what was said and who
Oh,
was
absolutely.
there, and also, maybe we do have a starting point.
All right, well, let us know what we need to do next, I guess.
Well, we meet every 2 weeks, and we scheduled to be back here 2 weeks from now. You may have, y'all wasn't in the pre-council, there is a league meeting next week, which they usually have some of their officials there, so, maybe we can ask them about if there's a chance to set up a meeting or anything. Y'all have any thoughts on that? Is there any problem? Well, you heard what I just said, and all 5 of my council members have said they're open to do that. Most of those council members up there, I either know them or know their family, or we've known them all our life. It
Yeah.
ain't like we're going up there to unknown people.
Right.
They know us,
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
maybe we can have some answer to move forward at the next council meeting and let you know, yes, we were able to talk, and we can set up a meeting, or
That
we're
sounds
not able
good.
to do it,
That's a start. And,
I just
Right.
want to make one thing clear about where I stand with it is, I still have a lot of questions. And I think a lot of us up here have a lot of questions.
Don't we all?
And one thing for me personally, I would like to see, where they're at, where they stand financially, what debt they have, what lawsuits they're in, all that kind of stuff, before I can commit to taking on an outside city.
I agree.
So, you know, that's,
But something's got to happen to start that conversation to get to that point.
right. And, you know, feasibility study, whatever it is, you know, that costs money, but, you know,
Well, I'd be willing to say it's worth study. I mean, because, you know, there's no doubt, I think that Satsuma needs to grow. I mean, I
Yeah,
try
I
to
think
sell
that's,
it every day somewhere to people that, you know, we need to continue to try. We're on a good path. We have built several homes, condos, and we have several homes under construction here now. I mean, I would, you know.
well, that sounds like a start. We just need to get the ball rolling. Thank y'all for your
Okay, we'll
time.
do it. Thank you, Mike. Appreciate all
Mike, didn't I
y'all.
see the other night in that meeting, if this was to happen, the city would grow by 237%, if I remember right.
Geographically, yes.
Geographically in size, 200.
Yes, geographically,
I
that's
was
the
at
number.
267%.
That was 37.
237, was a lot. It was a lot.
That's a whole bunch anyhow.
Yeah. It was, and it was a nice meeting. I thought, you know, there was a lot of positive comments, so.
It was the best way we could come up with to get started. And the thing that we wanted to do was to give all the citizens, before we go too far, we wanted to give the citizens a platform to say whatever it is they wanted to say and ask whatever questions. Not that, to Jason's point, we didn't have a lot of answers, but we needed to at least identify the questions. And we do have the answers to some of the things that you're questioning about, but this ain't the time to get into that.
I got you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mike. Is there anyone else that would like to come before the council tonight? Goodness. Well, it's going pretty quick. Okay, if there's no other people to approach, we'll go into the mayor's report, and I've covered some of these things in detail tonight prior to going, so we, I think, can breeze on through these pretty quick. I told y'all that Robbie Strom, regarding the Go Mesa plan or construction that we have planned at Steel Creek Lodge, we're hoping to do later this year. He said it's still progressing. He hopes to be at our next council meeting with some paperwork and show us where he's at on the permitting process. Likewise, Alan Killen with Civil Southeast regarding our sidewalks and the Restore Alabama street paving that we were talking about in our workshop last week. Those projects are continuing to move on. If y'all have any specific questions or anything, you know, please let me know. If not, I'll try to have Alan back out here for us within the next meeting. If not, the next meeting, the following one. I did tell y'all that we have had some interest in the building inspector position, and I hope we will have someone in that position before the next council meeting. Kara Stallman, I have a meeting with her on Thursday regarding some of the grants that she's wanting to talk about. Also, the council and pre-council agreed on the MS4 water report. They just give me the authority to go ahead and sign that and keep that moving. We have 3 of our school board members here tonight, so we appreciate y'all's attendance. As I did say earlier, they were part of the annual Community Education Council, the first time they had met in a couple of years. We was hosted here at Satsuma last night at Steel Creek, and a very nice banquet, turned out really nice. Really had some smart young people that received those awards and all. I was really impressed with some of those ACT scores from all the schools, so that was real nice. We discussed the senior meals, and I think Randy will talk a little bit more about that. Mr. Breon did meet with a lighting contractor and said he would try to have some figures and some of the reports for our next council meeting. We said we were continuing to explore what type signs we need to have on Juniper Avenue. The curve, there's been a number of accidents we've had over the years, and we're going to try to do some striping on the road there and implement some new signs and some lighted signs to do that. And also, I hope that we can find some of those signs that show your speed while approaching the curve. I think that would be a good tool to help slow us down in that area. We'll get that information back as soon as we can from you. I did tell you that Mr. Danny Bryan said he was going to reseal and restripe the front parking lot for us here at City Hall. He was going to volunteer to do that, so he may need to get y'all, James or Travis, to help him make sure we have the vehicles out of there one day. I told him just let y'all know the day before so we could mark that off, the parking lot. All right, with the raises, we're going to cover that in D. Once again, in our, just remind everybody, the league meeting is next week, and most of us will be out of town from Wednesday through the weekend for that. And there was an old shed taken down at the park several years ago that's been sitting over behind what we call the office, or at the trash ramp. And the council, I think, agreed tonight to let me just get a donation for that as scrap and proceed with just getting rid of that.
I think we should vote on it. What was the term that you used? If we want to sell it, I think we should vote to surplus it.
You want to vote to surplus it?
Yes,
That's
sir.
fine. That's good, okay. All right, we'll do that. We're going to cover the streets that we've named in what we recommend for the next pay-as-you-go project. That'll be covered later in the agenda. But I think that's everything I've had. We'll move to public services. Mr. Little.
Thank you, Mayor.
Yes, sir.
As I mentioned in the pre-council, I am encouraged about maybe getting a building inspector. Also, I've got a real good report here for the Sanitation Department. I want to mention those guys there just a minute. We're going to have one of our guys out with knee surgery, and he's going to be out probably a number of weeks. But I want to say thank you, or give a thanks to Mr. Travis Jones for kind of moving around in that department in different areas, doing different jobs, able to drive one of the trucks, and we really do appreciate that. I know when just one man's down in that department, you see a noticeable difference or shortage, but thank you for that. Also, the senior report, we still having, at least a dozen or so participants that come out on Tuesdays and Thursdays. We delivered, the Meals on Wheels delivered 722 meals. Let's see, the senior transportation van has made 31 trips to various medical appointments. And we also received a reimbursement check for $14,928.35 from SARPC. And we should be getting another one this month. That's the senior report. I believe that's all for now, Mayor.
Yeah. All right, thank you, Mr. Little. Moving on to public safety, Mr. Butler.
Okay, on the police department for the month of April, we got calls for service. We had 419. Felony cases, we had 5. Misdemeanor cases, we had 19. Felony arrest, we got 1. And misdemeanor arrest, we had 39. Accidents, we had 10. And sanitation, we got 59. On the fire department, we got 65 calls for the EMS calls. We got 15 calls for the fire calls and 2 for mutual aid given, for a total calls of 82.
Okay.
That's it.
All right, thank you, Mr. Butler. Moving on over to administration with Mr. Skelton.
Yes, sir. Excuse me. By next meeting, I should have a proposal for our skilled labor pay increase. I've been working on that for a little while, and it's a little more in-depth than what I originally thought it was going to be. So we should have some answers by the next meeting.
Appreciate
That's
you
all I
working
have.
on it. Thank you, Jason. Moving on to Parks and Recreation, Ms. Reese.
Yes, sir. Thanks to the water company, Water Board, for getting us some water over at the Bark Park. And we have a little fountain, but we are going to get another fountain. And it will be for both sides of the small dog side and the large dog side. So you won't have to take your dogs onto the other side. Anyways, we're working through that. Also got the I guess draft or the sign. We had gotten a sign before what is it called? Like a drawing when they send you a proof. Thank you. A proof. And it wasn't really what we were looking for. And then we decided that we kind of wanted it to mirror the splash pad. So it's going to be more of like an arch form. So there'll be some similarities between the two. So we have that back now. And then we're just waiting on the proof for the rules. So, and those have already been voted on. So it's just a matter of getting those signs up and making sure that the park is safe for people to bring their pets out. So we're looking forward to that. If you weren't here at pre-council, I will make another plea for the 4 baby kittens that are at Magnolia Park behind Public Works. 4 tiny kittens out there, and they need a good home probably. Also, I asked Tom about an update on the construction of the C and D restroom concession stand combo at Wright Park, and he is going to reach back out to the builder and see if they have an updated quote for that project. And I think that's it. Thank you.
Yes, ma'am. Moving on to Public Works, Mr. Phillips.
Mayor and pre-council, I passed out a list of the 4 generators for the city hall, city works, public safety, and community center on what the cost would be to do the yearly maintenance on them and get them ready for hurricane season. I'd like to put that on the agenda for next meeting, where they can review them and look at them, then we can vote on that.
I don't have any problem. We probably need to make sure we have a meeting with our department heads on all, get them prepared for the storm season as it approaches.
Mm-hmm.
We can put that, servicing the generators, on the next agenda, please, Ms. Heather.
James, do you know if they even done the service last year on them, the year before, with COVID and all?
I'm not sure about the one at the community center. I know the rest, the one here at City Hall, the Public Works, we done some service on them in our department.
Yeah, they didn't really do a thorough PM then on.
Pretty much, we changed the oil, checked everything that could be checked on.
Okay.
Make sure they're recycling right. The one at the community center, we've never really, took care of that one. That we pretty much always left that to, Tom's one that usually kept to the maintenance schedule on that one. But that one, he told me that he had to call in a qualified, service dealer with that one, that dealt in that type of a generator. It's, kind of out of our capability to do that one.
Okay. That's all I got, Mayor.
Okay, we can get with Tom and find out. I'm sure he's got some records of when they've been serviced. Okay, that's all from the council, so we'll move into the items for discussion and/or consideration. The first thing is A, and that's the payment of the bills.
I'll make a motion to pay the bills in the amount of $25,828.72.
Second.
Any discussion? Motion made by Mr. Skelton, seconded by Mr. Little to pay the bills in the set amount of $25,828.72. Anything? All those in favor signify by aye.
Aye.
Let it show it passed. B, consideration to approve 2022 through 2024 pay-as-you-go resurfacing project. That's what we spent a good bit of time on at our workshop the other night. In our packet, it's got the streets. Does anybody want to, just for our records, go ahead and
I'll read them,
list
Mayor.
them? Yeah, and
But I'd like to put
Footage.
this in the form of a motion. And the streets are Thomas from 043 to Harrison, Powers from 043 to Norton, 7th Street from Baker Road to Bayou Avenue West, Hartley Road from the storage unit south to Highway 43, Jonah Circle west and north from VG Street to Janelle Drive.
Second.
Okay. These were all discussed, and this was come up from, it kind of ties into the projects we've been having to go, and these were the streets that was brought to our attention by the department heads as needing the most attention. We all agreed about it after some discussion. So now, with that being said, Mr. Phillips made a motion. It was seconded by Ms. Reese to approve those streets, and we'll send those to the county tomorrow. All those in favor signify by aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, let it show it passed. C is consideration of entering into a joint purchasing agreement with Mobile County. It's something that they offered all the cities, especially the smaller cities. It's been done for a number of years. I don't think there was any questions we hadn't really addressed. So anything else?
I make that motion.
Okay.
Second.
Motion made by Ms. Reese, and seconded by Mr. Butler to approve item number C, entering into the joint purchasing agreement with the county. All those in favor signify by aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, let it show it passed. Also, in our effort to try and stay competitive in the job market, which I don't think we're going to do, at $13 an hour, but that's something we can afford, and that will allow the city to try to hire some summer work for some people to cut the grass, weed eat, do other tasks around the city. It's the unskilled labor. So after we discussed it the other night, we had some, I think, a little over $11 an hour, so it's right at a $2 an hour raise that we'll be able to give those, and we all agreed on that. So is there any other discussion we need to?
I'll make a motion.
Second.
Okay. With that being said, Mr. Butler's made a motion to pass that. It was seconded by Mr. Little. All those in favor signify by aye.
Aye.
And those opposed. Okay. Moving on to resolution, ordinances, and other business, basically going back over what we just did, the resolution of 2022-0501. Which is basically just the adopting the pay-as-you-go resurfacing program or projects that we've already discussed.
I'll put that in form of a motion.
Second.
Once again, motion made by Mr. Phillips and seconded by Ms. Reese to approve those streets and send it back in the resolution. Any discussion? All those in favor signify by aye.
Aye.
And we also had a resolution, 2022-05-02, support of National Safe Boating Week, where we're encouraging the people to practice safe boating. And any of you that's on Gunnison Creek or Steel Creek, Bayou Sarah, can see that we certainly have a ton of boating traffic out this time of the year. So,
I make that motion.
Second.
motion made by Mr. Little and seconded by Mr. Skelton to approve the resolution, safe boating resolution. All those in favor signify by aye.
Aye.
Those opposed.
There needs to be an L in fatal and an R on never. So I don't know if they sent you this.
They did, it was a sample.
Okay, they're just two typos I can get with you after, and then I'm voting yes.
All right, and then C, the final thing on our agenda tonight is ordinance 542, authorizing joint purchasing agreement with Mobile County.
Put that form of a motion.
Second.
Motion made by Mr. Skelton, seconded by Mr. Little. Any discussion? All those in favor signify by aye.
Aye.
Okay. Well, we have gone through the meeting. It's only 7:35, one of our faster meetings, so that's good. I'm proud of that.
Mayor, I did have one more thing. I'm sorry.
Yes, ma'am.
When I was at the Bark Park, so I know we put out the waste bags for the dogs' waste, and then there's a green can underneath that, but I've noticed that there's like household trash in there. Is it possible to get a trash can put in the park area instead of people using the other one? In that way.
Can y'all see if we can find a trash can and put maybe a couple over there in that park? So we'll do
Thank
that.
you so much.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, we have addressed all the items that was on our agenda and the concerns that's come up or before us tonight. Is there any other discussion? How about a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second.
Motion made and second, we adjourn. Thank y'all for attending tonight, and sorry you couldn't hear us early. Y'all have a good night. Thank you.